Mayor of Arizona town has declared a state of emergency, claiming that Joe Biden's administration sent him a busload of illegal immigrants while smuggling too many, while struggling to accommodate thousands of arrivals and deepening border crisis.
This is Yahoo 7. We have word now that a mayor of Arizona town has declared a state of emergency, claiming that Joe Biden and his administration has sent busloads of illegal immigrants into this area, and they're struggling to accommodate all these people, thousands of them. This is an area called Gila Bend, Arizona. This is a town of less than 2,000 people. It's located halfway between the state capital, Phoenix, and Sonoyta, which is a village on the Mexican side of the border. Now, for the past several weeks, these busloads started showing up, and it's been non-stop. They're saying border patrol agents themselves are dropping off busloads of illegal immigrants in this region, Gila Bend, with no further instruction from the government on what to do. They say they have nowhere to house them, and the mayor says, him calling for this state of emergency, he is hoping to get some federal aid. Okay? So they're saying that Riggs told Fox that to test 2 busloads of migrants for COVID-19 every week for a year cost the town $600,000. In addition to the influx by bus, he said that 20 or so migrants are arriving every day on foot, and the violent crime has increased in the area. So, we witnessed what the sheriff had said here this past week, and others that are rallying around him. And this is where it sits in terms of the mayor calling for the state of emergency here in this town. Now, I'm going to expand on this in the next live stream. Make sure to join us live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern over at Be Live. It's where the gloves come off. We talk about all these stories in great detail, censorship. Find links below. Much love. Those stories are great. I have 9 p.m.
Exodus, a mass departure of people, especially migrants. Evacuations, leaving, exit, migration, immigration, Hegaria, diaspora, flight, abscond, retreat, fleeing, abscond, withdrawal. That's what you see in a lot of, for example, the departure of the Israelites from Egypt. A major exodus, that would be a good example. So you're seeing a lot of the people from South America to try to come up here to while they can, especially under this administration, coming to the United States while they can do it. So that's that mass departure of people, that exodus. Shalom. Foremost, I want to start off by giving all praise to Yahweh, Ba'Shem, Yahushai, Ba'Shem, Rakah Kadash. The honors to the elders and apostles for their edification and knowledge. Ka Haliyah Yom Yahweh, Ba'Shem, Yahushai, Ba'Shem, Rakah Kadash. Give all praise again to Yahweh, Ba'Shem, Yahushai, Ba'Shem, Rakah Kadash. And relating to mayor in the town of Arizona, relating to a busload of immigrants coming to pretty much flooding their town under the Biden administration. So that mass exodus. I'm going to go to Exodus 1 chapter, read a few verses. Exodus 1 and 11. We'll read 1:11 through 13. Therefore they did set over them taskmasters to afflict them with their burdens. For they built for the Pharisee treasure city, Pithom and Ramses. But the more they afflicted them, the more they multiplied and grew. There's a few scriptures back. This nation is stronger and mightier than we. I'll read that again, number 12. But the more they afflicted them, the more they multiplied and grew. And they were grieved because of the children of Israel. And the Egyptians made the children of Israel to serve in rigor, man. So pretty much hard bondage, man. And they made their lives bitter with hard bondage and mortar and in a brick, and in all manner of service in fields, and all service wherein they made them serve, was with rigor. This relates to when they were Israelites suffering in hard bondage in Egypt during their captivity. And symbolically putting that fast forward relating to this Exodus with these people coming. They just leaving one captivity to what they think is a lesser penalty of a captivity. And basically they're leaving from their respected countries relating to the hardship and bondage to come to America to find some kind of ease, but actually going into pretty much a different environment of a harder or more complex circumstances. So they just leaving one form of captivity to go to an unknown one they never know of. You seeing them locked in these facilities, the children, you know what I mean, beyond a certain point, beyond certain days that they're supposed to. So they're just going from one place to another, man. And this relates to the northern tribe because the southern, from the South American countries, that's the northern tribe mostly. So, for example, Mexico and the different countries in South America. Relates to the northern tribe. So they just leaving from one to another. You know what I mean? So they're not really escaping, man. So they fleeing, but just re-fleeing back to a new form of a new taskmaster and a task master in a matter of speaking. I want to go to Deuteronomy 28. And I'm going to read Deuteronomy 28 and 45. For moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee, and shall pursue thee, and overtake thee until thou be destroyed. So wherever you go, whether here in another country, the curses are going to be in effect either way. You know why? Because they're going to follow thee, pursue thee, until they overtake thee and destroy thee, man. So you can't escape, man. Whether it's the northern tribe, whether it's the southern tribe, the curse is still in effect, man, because the curses have a purpose to fulfill, man. Now, some are going to be, I'll briefly talk about, some are going to be more effective, obviously, as far as the curses more than others, and some not as much. Some will have a more buffer against the curses, and others will just be obvious. But either way, the curses still are in effect either way, whether lightly or greatly. (28) and 40, 5, we'll read that again. Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee, and shall pursue thee, and overtake thee until thou be destroyed, because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to keep his commandments and his statutes which he commanded thee. That's why these curses are on his people, man. That's the whole point. Because they failed to hearken and heed to, as the prophets told them, the nation of Israel to do, but they refused. So the Lord had nothing. He had no other choice but to severely punish the nation collectively. So he allowed these curses to come upon thee, man. So whether you in South America, whether you in Africa, whether you in America, whether if you so-called Israelites, so-called black, Spanish, Native Americans, or a speckled bird that looks like other nation, but through the spirit that could be an Israelite, that scatter among, as it states in Deuteronomy 28 and 64, that will be scattered among all the nations. If you're a part of that look like that's part of that the nation of Israel, that's those nations that scatter among these other nations, then the curses are going to affect you, man. Like I said, the curses are going to affect some greatly, some not as some greatly, and some not as great. It depends. For example, the rich of our people, which we have in this country, for example, the ones who have money. They're Israelites. They have money. They have position and power. That doesn't mean the curses still don't affect them. It just affects them differently than somebody who's a regular Joe, such as myself, an average Joe, or somebody who's regular. So the curses are going to operate and affect differently on somebody who's like poor or middle class or rich, man. They're just going to have a different set of problems relating to the curses. That's the only difference. But the curses are going to affect either way because of who they are. I'll give you some other examples of Deuteronomy. Because that needs to be understood, man. Because a lot of people don't understand that. Churches ain't trying to understand that. They don't believe that. But that's what it is, man. You got a certain nation of people that are affected more than any other nation. They go through different complex adversities and hardships more than anybody else. There's a reason for that, man. And it's a spiritual reason first, man. But they had to really grasp spiritually to understand that, man. Shalakia for rambling. For a nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person of old, nor shew favor to the young. That's Deuteronomy 28 and 54. So they're not going to shew whether you're young, a child, or whether you're an old person, a senior citizen, or in between. They're not going to shew any favor to you. That's the ones who are over them. They're oppressors, pretty much. The ones who are in a position of power. And they're made to be that worm. That worm is a defenseless entity, man. So they're not going to shew no favor over young, old, or in the middle. I'm going to read 28 and 64. For the Lord shall scatter thee among all people from one end of the earth, even from the other. There thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone. So our people are going to be scattered among all other nations. That traditional look, for example, because our men of the nation, they like diversity relating to women. So they procreated which is multiplied with the women and had children that are not going to look that traditional look. So they're scattered among the other nations. Other nations. So that traditional look, that one way, that speckled bird, that pancake that's not always done thoroughly, that not traditional look. Because we've been scattered among all the nations, all over the world, man. So we have a variety, diversity, as far as look. And I'll just finish it off. And among these nations shalt thou find no ease, neither shall the sole of thy foot have rest. But the Lord shall give thee a trembling heart and a failing eyes and a sorrow of mind. Relates to the hellish and stated condition are people going to be under pretty much bondage, man. And thy life shall hang in double before thee, and thou shalt fear day and night, and shalt have no assurance of thy life. In the morning thou shalt say, would God if it were even. And at evening thou shalt say, would God if it were morning. For the fear of thy heart wherewith thou shalt fear. For the sight of thine eyes which thou shalt see. And the Lord Yahweh shall bring thee into Egypt again, into ships, which is bondage, by the way whereof I spake unto thee, but thou shalt see it no more again. And there ye shall be sold into your enemies, these other nations, man. Remember, these other nations are used to punish the disobedient Israelites, man. Your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. No man shall buy you or redeem you, man. So you're going to be put in bondage, man. And that's still a continuation. Because the Israelites is deeper than skin color, man. It's about seed line, lineage, pedigree, man. Related to Numbers 1 and 18, it goes back to your father, man. The seed line goes back to your father, so it's deeper than that. It's deeper into just skin color, man. This was just a few verses relating to the Exodus. Give all praise to Yahweh Bashem, Yahshua Bashem, Rakakadash. The water, I hope it helps in some way. Shalom.